last question. What is the need for secrecy in master-disciple relationship and also in ordinary human relationships? The being has two sides, the without and the within. The without can be public, but the within cannot be. If you make the within public, you will lose your soul. You will lose your original face. Then you will live as if you have no inner being. The life will become drab, futile. It happens to people who live a public life, politicians, film actors. They become public. They lose their inner being completely. They don't know who they are, except what the public says about them. They depend on others' opinion. They don't have a sense of their being. One of the most famous actresses, Marilyn Monroe, committed suicide. And psychoanalysts have been brooding on the fact why. Because she was one of the most beautiful women ever, most successful. Even the President of America, Kennedy, was in love with her. And she had thousands of lovers. And one cannot think, what more you can have? She had everything. But she was public. And she knew it. Even in her love chamber, when President Kennedy will be there, she used to address him as Mr. President, as if you are making love not to a man, but to an institution. She was an institution. By and by she became aware that she has nothing as private. Once somebody asked her, she had just posed for a nude calendar, and somebody asked, had you anything on yourself while you posed for the nude calendar? She said, yes, I had something on the radio. Exposed, nude, no private self. My feeling is she committed suicide because that was the only thing left she could have done privately. And everything was public. That was the only thing left she could do on her own, alone. Something absolutely intimate and secret. Public figures are always tempted towards suicide, because through suicide only they can have a glimpse who they are. All that is beautiful is inner, and the inner means privacy. Have you watched women making love? They always close their eyes. They know something. A man goes on making love with open eyes. He remains a watcher also. He is not completely in the act. He is not totally in it. He remains a voyeur, as if somebody else is making love and he is watching, as if the love making is going on the TV screen or in the movie. But a woman knows better, because she is more delicately tuned to the inner. She always closes the eyes. then love has a totally different fragrance. Do one thing someday. Run the bath and then switch on and off the light. When there will be darkness, you will hear the water falling more clearly. The sound will be sharp. When there will be light on, the sound will not be so sharp. What happens in darkness? In darkness, everything else disappears because you cannot see, only the sound and you. That's why in all good restaurants, light is avoided, sharp light is avoided. They are candle lit. Because whenever a restaurant is candle lit, taste is deeper. You eat well and you taste more, and the fragrance surrounds you. If there is very bright light, the taste is no more there, because the eyes make everything public. Aristotle, in his Metaphysics, in the very first sentence says that sight is the highest sense of man. It is not. In fact, sight has become too much domineering. It has monopolized the whole self, and it has destroyed all other senses. His master, Aristotle's master Plato, says that there is a hierarchy in senses. Sight at the top, touch at the bottom. He is absolutely wrong. There is no hierarchy. All senses are on the same level, and there should not be any hierarchy. But you live through the eye. 80% of your life is eye-oriented. This should not be so. A balance has to be restored. You should touch also, because touch has something which eyes cannot give. But try to touch the woman you love or the man you love in bright light, and then touch in darkness. In darkness the body reveals, in bright light it hides. Have you seen Renaier's paintings of feminine bodies? They have something miraculous in them. Many painters have painted the feminine body, but there is no comparison with Renair. What is the difference? What is the difference? All other painters have painted the feminine body as it looks to the eyes, and Renair has painted as it feels to the hands. So the painting has a warmth and a closeness and a aliveness. When you touch, something happens very close. When you see, something is far away. In darkness, in secrecy, in privacy, something is revealed which cannot be revealed in openness in the marketplace, when others are seeing and observing. Something deep within you shrinks. It cannot flower. It is just like as if you put the seeds just on the ground, open for everybody to look at. They will never sprout. They need to be thrown deep in the womb of the earth, in deep darkness, where nobody can see them. There they start sprouting. Then a great tree is born. Just as seeds need privacy and darkness in the earth, all relationships which are deep and intimate remain of the inner. They need privacy. They need where only two exist. And there comes a moment when even the two dissolve and only one exists. Two lovers, deeply in tune with each other, dissolve. Only one exists. They breathe together. They are together. A togetherness exists. This will not be possible if observers are there. They will never be able to let go when the others are seeing. The very eyes of others will become the barriers. So all that is beautiful, all that is deep, happens in darkness. In ordinary human relationship, privacy is needed. And when you ask about the relationship of a master and disciple, even more privacy is needed. Because it is a transmission of the highest energy possible to man. It is the biggest love, where one man pours into another. When one becomes a receptive womb, even a slight disturbance, somebody watching, will be enough of a barrier. Secrecy has its own reason to be there. Remember it, and always remember that you can behave in your life very foolishly if you become completely public. It will be as if somebody has turned his pockets inside out. That will be your shape. Pockets turned inside out. Nothing is wrong in being outside, but remember, that is only part of life. That should not become the whole. I am not saying that move in darkness forever. Light has its own beauty and its own reason. If the seed remains in the dark forever and ever and never comes up to receive the sun in the morning, it will be dead. It has to go in darkness to sprout, to gather strength, to become vital, to be reborn, and then it has come out. It has to come out and face the world and the light and the storm and the rains. It has to accept the challenge of the outside. But that challenge can be accepted only if you are deeply rooted in. So I am not saying become escapists. I am not saying close your eyes and move within and never come out. I am simply saying go in so that you can come out with energy, with love, with compassion. Go in so that when you come out, you are not a beggar, but a king. Go in so that when you come out, you have something to share, the flowers, the leaves. Go in so that your coming out becomes richer and is not impoverished. And always remember that whenever you feel exhausted, the source of energy is within. Close the eyes and go in. Make outer relationships, make inner relationships also. Of course, there are bound to be outer relationships. You move in the world. Business relationships will be there, but they should not be all. They have their part to play. But there must be something absolutely secret and private, something which you can call just your own. That's what Marilyn Monroe lacked. She was a public woman. Successful, yet failed completely. And while she was at the top of her success and fame, she committed suicide. It has remained an enigma why she committed suicide. She had everything to live for. And you cannot conceive more fame, more success, more charisma, more beauty, more health. Everything was there. Nothing can be improved. And still something was lacking. The inside, the within was empty. Then suicide is the only way. You may not be so daring to commit suicide like Monroe, You may be very coward and you may commit suicide very slowly. You may take 70 years to commit it, but still it will be a suicide. Unless you have something in which is not dependent on anything outside, which is just your own, a world, a space of your own, where you can close your eyes and move and you can forget that anything else exists, you will be committing suicide. Life arises from that inner source. It spreads into the sky outside. And there has to be a balance. I am always for balance. So I will not say like Mahatma Gandhi that your life should be an open book. No. Few chapters open, okay. Few chapters completely closed. Completely a mystery. Just an open book. You will be a prostitute. You will be just standing in the marketplace naked, just the radio on. No, that won't do. The whole book open, you will be just the day and no night. Just the summer and no winter. Then where you will rest? And where you will shelter yourself, and where you will get refuse, where you will move when the world is too much with you, where you will go to pray and meditate. No, half is perfect. Let your half book be open to everybody, available to everybody, and let your half book be so secret that only rare guests are allowed there. Only rarely somebody is allowed to move within your temple. It should be so. Just the crowd coming in and going, then the temple is no more a temple. It may be a waiting room on an airport, but it cannot be a temple. Only rarely, very rarely, you allow somebody to enter yourself. That's what love is. The second question. Sometimes I wonder what I am doing here, sitting before you. And then suddenly you are too much for me, too much light, love, yet I want to leave you. Can you explain this to me? Yes, to everybody, the question is bound to happen someday or other. What you are doing here? The question arises because my emphasis is not on doing. I am teaching you non-doing. So the question is relevant. If I was teaching something to do, the question won't arise because you will be occupied. If you go to somebody else, there are 1,001 ashramas in the world. They will teach you to do something. They will not leave you at all unoccupied because they think that an unoccupied mind is the devil's workshop. My understanding is totally diametrically opposite. When you are absolutely empty, God fills you. When you are unoccupied, only then you are. While you are doing something, it is just on the periphery. All acts are on the periphery, good and bad, all. Be a sinner, you are on the periphery. Be a saint, you are on the periphery. Because to do bad, you have to come out of yourself. To do good also, you have to come out of yourself. Doing is outside. Non-doing is inside. Non-doing is your private self. Doing is your public self. I am not teaching you to become saints. Otherwise it would have been very easy. Don't do this, do that. Just change the periphery. Change your acts. I am trying a totally different thing. A mutation. Not a change from one part of the periphery to another part of the periphery, but a transmutation from the periphery to the center. The center is empty. It is absolutely void. There you are. There is being, not doing. It is bound to happen to you sometimes. Sitting before me, you will wonder, what are you doing here? Nothing. You are not doing anything here. You are learning how just to be. Not to do. Not to do anything. No action, no movement. As if everything stops. Time stops. And in that non-moving moment, you are in tune with the present. You are in tune with God. Actions become past. Actions can be in the future, can be in the past. God is always in the present. God has no past and no future. And God has not done a thing. When you think that He has created the world, you are creating His image according to yourself, because you cannot remain without doing anything. It becomes too restless. It is too uneasy. So you have conceived God also as a creator. Not only as a creator, Christians say that 6 days He created, and 7th day, the Sunday, He rested, the holiday. The Bible says God created man in His own image. Just the reverse seems to be the case. Man has created God in His own image. Because you cannot remain unoccupied. You think what God will do if He is not creating the world. And because by doing you get tired, you think God also must have got tired after 6 days. So 7th day He rested. This is just anthropomorphic. You are thinking about God just as you would think about yourself. No, God has not created the world. The world comes out of His non-activity. The world comes out of His non-doing. The world is a flowering of God, just like a tree. Do you think the tree is creating the flowers? Making much effort? Doing exercises? Planning? Asking the experts? The tree is not doing anything at all. The tree is just there. Absolutely unoccupied. In that unoccupied state, the flower flowers by itself. And remember, if someday the trees become foolish as man is, and they start trying to bring the flowers, then flowers will stop to come. They will not be coming. Because they always come effortlessly. Just watch a flower. Can you see anything of the effort on it? The very being of a flower is so effortless. It simply opens, but we cannot conceive it. The birds singing in the morning, do you think they go to Ravi Shankar to learn? Do you think they do something in the morning when they start singing? No, nothing of that sort. The sun arises, and out of their emptiness arises the song. The greatest miracle in the world that God has created without doing a thing. It is out of nothingness. I was reading Wagner's life, one German composer and great musician. Somebody asked Wegener that, can you say anything about the secret? Why you have created such beautiful music and how? Wegener said, because I was unhappy. He said, if I had been happy, I would not have written down a single note. He said, people who are unhappy, they have to fill their lives with imagination because the reality is lacking. And he is right in many ways. People who have never loved write poetries about love. That's a substitute. If really in life love had happened, who bothers to write a poetry about love? One would have been a poetry himself. No need to write it. So Wegener said, poets write about love because they have missed love. And then he made a statement which is tremendously meaningful. He said, and I think God created the world because he was unhappy. A great insight. But the insight is relevant to man, not to God. God created the world. If you ask me, God created the world. In the first place, he is not a creator, but a creativity. But to use the old expression, God created the world not because he was unhappy, but because he was so happy. He overflowed. He had so much. The tree is flowering there in the garden, not because it is unhappy. The flower comes only when the tree has too much to share and does not know what to do with it. The flower is overflowing. When the tree is not well fed, not well watered, has not received the right quota of sunlight and care and love, it doesn't flower. Because flowering is a luxury. It happens only when you have too much, more than you need. Whenever you have too much, what you will do? It will become a heaviness. It will be a burden. It has to be released. The tree busts and blooms. It has come to its luxurious moment. The world is the luxury of God, a flowering. He has so much. What to do with it? He shares. He throws it out. He starts expanding. He starts creating. But remember always, he is not a creator like a painter who paints and then the painter is separate and the painting is separate. If the painter dies, the painting will still live. God is a creator like a dancer. The dance and the dancer are one. If the dancer stops, the dance stops. You cannot separate the dance from the dancer. You cannot say to the dancer that give your dance to me, I will take it home. I am ready to purchase it. The dance cannot be purchased. It is one of the most spiritual things in the world because it cannot be purchased. You cannot carry it. You cannot make a commodity out of it. When the dancer is dancing, it is there. When the dancer has stopped, it has disappeared, as if it never existed. God is creativity. Not that he created somewhere in the past and then stopped and rested, and since then what he is doing? No, he is continuously creating. God is not an event, he is a process. It is not that sometime he created and then stopped. Then the world will be dead. He is continuously creating. Just as birds are singing and trees are flowering and the clouds are moving in the sky, He is creating. And He need not take any rest, because creativity is not an act. You cannot be tired. It is out of His nothingness. This is the meaning. When in the East we have said that God is emptiness. Only nothingness can be infinite. Somethingness is bound to be finite. And only out of nothingness, this infinite expanse of life, existence is possible, not out of somethingness. God is not somebody. He is nobody, or more correctly, nobodiness. God is not something. He is nothing. Or even more correctly, nothingness. He is a creative void. What Buddha has called sunya. He is a creative void. What I am teaching to you, I am teaching you the same, to become creative voids. Non-doers. Delighters in just being. That's why the question is bound to come to everybody's mind sometime or other. You ask, sometime I wonder what I am doing here. You wonder rightly. Nothing you are doing here. Your mind may supply answers, but don't listen to them. Listen to my answers. You are not doing anything here. I am not teaching you to do something. Your mind may say that you are learning meditation. You are doing meditation, yoga, this, that. Or you are trying to achieve enlightenment, satori, samadhi. All nonsense. This is your mind supplying. Because the mind is an achiever. The mind cannot remain without activity. The mind goes on creating some activity or other. Earn money. If you are finished with that, earn meditation. But earn. Achieve something. Do something. You become afraid when you are not doing anything, because then suddenly you are face to the creative void. That is the face of God. When you are in a chaos and you are falling in an infinite abyss and you cannot see the bottom, there is none. Sitting before me, what are you doing? Just sitting. That is the meaning of Zazen. In Zen, they call meditation Zazen. Zazen means just sitting, doing nothing. If you can just sit near me, that is enough, more than enough. Nothing else is needed. If you can just sit without doing anything, not even doing a thought, not even doing thinking and dreaming, if you can just sit near me, that will do all. Suddenly, you are too much for me, you ask. Yes. If you just sit, I will be too much. Because if you just sit suddenly, I will be flowing within you. If you just sit, you will immediately become aware of light and love. And then you say, I want to leave you. Because you are afraid of love and light. You have become a denizen of darkness. You have lived in darkness so long that your eyes are afraid. That whatsoever you say, that you would like to live in the light, but your deep rooted habits shrink and they say, where are you going? You have great investment in darkness. All your knowledge is related to darkness. In light, you will be absolutely ignorant. All your wisdom and experience is out of darkness. In light, you will be naked, nude. All that you know belongs to darkness. In the light, you will find yourself just like an innocent babe, a small child, not knowing anything. You have lived in bondage and now you are afraid to be free. You go on talking about freedom and moksha, absolute freedom. But if you watch yourself, you will know whenever freedom comes on your way, you escape. You become afraid. Maybe you talk about freedom just to deceive yourself. Maybe it is a substitute. The substitute Wegener is talking about. You are in bondage. You have never known freedom. You talk about freedom. You sing songs of freedom, and through those songs you have a vicarious satisfaction, as if you have become free. It is a as if freedom, but with me it is not going to be as if, it is going to be a reality. You become afraid of reality. You go on asking for love, but when it comes, you escape. Because love is dangerous. One of the greatest danger in life is love. The mind can settle with marriage, but not with love. The mind always wants the law, not love. The mind always loves ardor, not the chaos that love is. The mind wants to remain in security, and love is the greatest insecurity you can come across. Whenever love comes, you become afraid. To the very roots you shake and tremble. Because that love, if allowed to enter in you, will destroy your mind. The mind says, escape. Escape immediately. The mind is trying to save itself. But you have lived too deeply in contact with the mind and you have become too attached. You think whatsoever mind says is right. And you think whatsoever is security for mind is security for you. And there is the whole misunderstanding. The death of the mind will be the life for you. And the life of the mind is nothing but death for you. The identity has to be broken. You have to become aware that you are not the mind. Only then you can be near me. Only then the effort to leave and escape will dissolve. Otherwise you can find reasons, and those reasons will be all phony. And the real reason will be this, that you were not able to let light come in. You were not able to let love come in and destroy your mind and destroy your ego and give you a rebirth. The third question, your teaching seems to be absolutely oneself. This is beyond me. How can one be oneself if one is not oneself? Let me ask you another question. How can you be not yourself? You can believe, but you cannot be anything else than yourself. You can think that you are somebody else. You can imagine that you are somebody else. But all the time you are just yourself, nothing else. So whether you believe that you are yourself or not is irrelevant. You remain all the time yourself. You can go on running and chasing the shadows. But one day or the other you will have to realize that you have been doing just an absurd thing. How you can be other than yourself? How? You ask me that how one can be oneself. I ask you how one can be other than oneself. And in my questioning is the answer. Nobody has ever been other than himself. Nobody can ever be other than himself. To be oneself is the only way to be. Nothing can be done about it. You can believe, just like you sleep in the night in Pune and you dream that you are in Philadelphia. That doesn't make any change in reality. You remain in Pune. Here, somewhere in Mobos, you remain in Pune. Philadelphia remains just in the dream. In the morning, you will not wake up in Philadelphia, remember. You will wake up in Mobos in Pune. Howsoever miserable, but it is the case. Nothing can be done about it. At the most, again, you can dream of Philadelphia. You are God's. That's your reality. You can believe. You have believed in many things. Sometimes you believed you are a tree. Many trees are still believing that. Sometimes you believed you are an animal, a tiger, a lion. There are few people who belong to lion clubs. Lion Babut Mel Sangvi. They are not satisfied in being a man. Lion. Sometimes you did believe that you are a lion. And then you were a lion. A dream. Sometimes you believe that you are a rock and you were a rock. A dream. You have been changing your dreams. Now the time has arrived. Wake up. And I am not giving you another dream. Remember, you hanker for it. You would like me to give you another dream. But I am not going to give you another dream. That's why to be with me is difficult and arduous. Because I am insisting that you wake up. Enough is enough. You have dreamed a lot. Since eternity you have been dreaming. You have been changing dreams. When you get fed up with one dream, you start changing it. You dream another dream. My whole effort is to shake you, to shock you, to wake you. It is not a question of achieving any new thing. It is already your being. Just opening of the eyes. Just dropping the dreams. Just dropping the clouds in the vision. It is a question of clarity and understanding, that's all. Between you and Jesus, between you and me, between you and Buddha, there is no difference of being, nothing. You are exactly the same. The difference at the most is that you are asleep and Jesus is not asleep. That's all. So don't ask me how to be oneself. You cannot be otherwise. Just ask me how to be awake. You are all the time yourself. Just become a little more alert. Just bring a new quality of waking consciousness. Just to watch. Don't try to be anything, because that will be again a dream. Just watch whosoever you are, wheresoever you are, Just watch and be and allow it. And the happening, the sudden happening, can be any moment. The heavens can open and the Spirit of God, like a dove, enter in you. In fact, this is just a way of saying something which cannot be said. It can be said in just the opposite terms also. Let me say it, that when John the Baptist baptized Jesus, Jesus opened, and the Spirit of God, like a dove, was released from him and flew into the infinite sky. That will also be exactly the same truth, just a way of saying from two polarities. You are God's, and you have been never anything else. That's why I'm not worried. If you want to sleep a little longer, nothing is wrong. Up to you is the choice. You can have a little more sleep, turn over and have a little more sleep, snore a little longer. Nothing is wrong. But don't try to improve. Don't try to achieve anything. Don't try to become anything, because you are already that which you can become. The being is your only becoming. You carry your destiny within yourself. Relax and be. The fourth question, are you still learning too? Yes. Because if the learning stops, you are dead. Learning is life. You can ask me, are you still alive? That will be the same question. The ego is a perfectionist, and the ego thinks when you have attained, you have become enlightened, then there is no learning. Then you know all. But if you know all, that all will be finite. Just by being known, it has become finite. You cannot know the infinite. The infinite simply means that you can go on learning and learning and learning, and never comes the end. It is an eternal journey. It begins, but it never ends. But then the ego thinks, then what is the difference? Then we are also learning. The difference is you are learning fast asleep, unconscious. A man who is enlightened learns consciously. Your learning is not knowing, your learning is knowledge, dead information. A man who is awakened, his learning is not like knowledge, his learning is simply knowing. He is like a mirror. The mirror goes on mirroring. A bird flies before the mirror and the mirror mirrors it. Is there a point when you can say, now the mirror is perfect, it mirrors nothing? When the mirror is perfect, it will mirror perfectly, that's all. When you are awakened, you learn perfectly. Not that you stop learning. Not that you have become perfect and now there is nothing more to know. Just the contrary. The more you know, the more is there to know. The more you open your eyes, the more infinite surrounds you. It is an infinite journey. I am still learning. And I am happy. And I would not like to be otherwise. I would not like to come to a point where I can say I have known all, because that will be death. Then what? Then the river is frozen. Then it no more flows. No. A perfect river goes on flowing. It is never frozen. I will go on learning. Buddha and Jesus is still learning. That has to be so. Mahavir is still learning, notwithstanding what Jains say. They say that he has known all. He has become all-knowing. Because their ego is involved. Their master, how he can be still learning? That means he is still not perfect. So Jains say Mahavir has known all. He has become a Sarvagya, all-knower, omniscient. This is their ego, not Mahavir. If you say to Christians that Jesus is still learning, they will be very angry. The Son of God, the only begotten Son of God, begotten Son of God, how he can be still learning? He knows all. But I tell you, he is still learning because he is still alive. Alive with the infinity. Learning infinitely. Of course, learning perfectly. This is very difficult to understand because your ego always seeks goals. And if learning continues forever and ever, then there is no goal. I tell you, that's how life is. Life has no goal. It is an ever-flowing river. Always reaching but never reaching. Always arriving, but every arrival becomes a new departure. Go to the Himalayas. You trek, you move, you go high on the peak. The time you were trekking up, there was no more peak beyond it. Then you reach to the peak, many more peaks are revealed. You go on and on and on. It is an ongoing process. God is the process. Even God is learning. Has to be so. Otherwise he will be stupid. He is not stupid, he is learning. And he is evolving. And that's beautiful. Nothing is static, everything dynamic. That's what I mean when I say that don't say God is, always say God is happening. Don't use a static term. Don't use a noun for him. Use a verb. Say he is happening. Say he is learning. Say he is evolving. Say he is a process, he is a river. And you will have stuck truth. Yes, I am continuously learning. Every moment, life is so tremendously beautiful and so tremendously vast, so tremendously infinite and so tremendously mysterious. To say that one has known all will be sacrilegious. The fifth question. Why did Jesus constantly talk in obscure parables which baffled even his disciples most of the time? Was this a deliberate technique? Why could not he be more straightforward like you? Whoever told you that I am straightforward? While listening to me, you may get the impression. Think and meditate upon it later on. You will find me more baffling than Jesus. At least he is consistent. And never ask such questions, because those questions show that you are sitting as a judge. Why? Jesus did this and that. If you cannot leave even Jesus from your judgment, how you will be able to leave anybody else? Why can't you accept things as they are? Why this flower is white and not red? Is it not a foolish question? This flower is red, that flower is white. Why? A small child was walking with D.H. Lawrence in a garden, and the child asked, why the trees are green? D.H. Lawrence looked at the child and said, they are green because they are green. Jesus is Jesus. Me is me. Neither Jesus is there to follow me, nor I am there to follow him. And it is good that everybody is unique, otherwise life will be a boredom, a monotony. But people are foolish. They go on asking me, they go on coming me, why Buddha said this and why Mahavir never said this. No, Mahavir is Mahavir, Buddha is Buddha. The Ganges flows towards the east and the Narmada goes on flowing towards the west. What to do? And if all the rivers are flowing towards the east, do you think the world will be better? Just think of a world, 4,000 million Buddhas. Can you think of anything more boring? They will start committing suicide. Wherever you go, you meet your replica. Wherever you look, as if you are looking always in the mirror. Just people exactly alike. No, it is good that everybody is unique. Why you hanker after such things? Jesus is beautiful in his parables. Without parables, he will not be beautiful. Without parables, something will be missing. He is one of the most beautiful storytellers. And of course, the beauty of a parable is that it baffles the reason. But you are childish. You think a story is perfect when the story gives you the conclusion, the motto. You are just like school children. They can't be satisfied unless the story comes to a conclusion and gives exact a mathematical conclusion to it, then they are satisfied. But then the story is dead. Perfectly concluded story is dead. A parable tries to show something, not to say. It indicates very indirectly. The conclusion has to be supplied by you. It gives a gap. It gives some space to you to find out the conclusion. A parable is creative. When the story is totally complete, like 2 + 2 is 4, then it gives no scope for your imagination, no scope for your meditation. Then it is simply mathematical. It is no more poetic. It is dead. You would like that somebody should say absolutely exactly what he means. But then, that which is the ultimate meaning cannot be sought to you. The ultimate meaning is going to be always indirect, indicated, said and yet not said. You feel a vague something, but it is never concrete. If it becomes concrete, it is of this world. If it remains vague and you follow it and you try to find out the clue, in the very effort of finding the clue, you rise above it. You have entered already into another world. A parable is not an ordinary story. It is symbolic. It is creative. If you listen to it, if you try to understand it, your understanding will go higher than it was before you heard it. An ordinary story remains below your understanding. You can understand it perfectly because it has nothing beyond. Parables are of the beyond. One step within your mind, another step without, another step beyond. It is a persuasion. Jesus constantly talks in parables. He really wants to baffle you, because he is talking about something which is ineffable, elusive, mysterium. He is talking about the mysterious. Gaps have to be left for you to fill. They should be like puzzles which challenge you, and through the challenge you grow. And never compare why Jesus is like this. The trees are green because they are green. Jesus is just Jesus-like, and he is not like anybody else. And that's what I have been insisting continuously for you to be also. Just to be yourself. Never be anybody else. Never be a Christian. Never be a Hindu. Never be a Jain. Because then you are following a pattern and you will miss your soul. The soul is yours, individual, unique, and the pattern is public, collective, social. Never try to be somebody else. Just try to find who you are and allow it, accept it, welcome it, delight in it, relish it, so that it is nourished, so that it grows. Through you, God is trying to become somebody he has never tried before. And God is not repetitive. His creativity is infinite. He never tries the same model again. He is not a Henry Ford. He is absolutely inventive. He goes on trying every day the new, the fresh. He never bothers to repeat again another model. He always goes on improving. He is a great innovator. That's what creativity is. Don't try to become a Jesus, because then God won't receive you. One Hasid was dying. His name is Josiah. Somebody asked him that, have you prayed to God? Have you made your peace with God? Are you certain that Moses will be a witness to you? Josiah looked at the questioner and said, I am not worried about Moses, because when I will be facing God, I know it perfectly well that he will not ask me, Josiah, why you were not a Moses. He will ask me, Josiah, why you were not a Josiah. So I am worried about myself. Stop talking nonsense. Moses, what I am to do with Moses? My whole life wasted in it. Now I am dying and I am facing the real question that he will ask me, were you a Josiah or not? I had made you to be somebody special, somebody unique. Did you achieve that peak or not? Or you missed the opportunity? God will ask you certainly. Were you able to become yourself? No other question can be asked. Don't ask such questions why Jesus constantly talks in obscure parables. He loves that way. And a parable has to be obscure, dim, candle lit. Too bright light kills a parable. Too much analysis kills it. It is poetry. Was this a deliberate technique? You can never go beyond the technique. Too much obsessed with the technique, everything becomes a technique to you. This is the way Jesus is. It is not a question of technique. He is not following a certain technique. He is not a follower of Dale Carnegie. He has never read the book How to Influence People and Win Friends. He is not following a technique. He was not an American. In America, everything has become technique. Even if you want to make love, you go and learn the technique. Can you imagine more unfortunate days for humanity? Even animals don't ask. They know perfectly well how to make love. They don't go to a school to learn the technique. But in America, everything has become a technique. How to be friendly, that has to be learned. Is man completely lost? Even friendship has to be learned. People come to me. I go and saying to them, laugh. They ask how to laugh. How to laugh? Learn from Swami Sardar Gurdayal. He is a perfect master. But I have come across the rumor that people don't allow him to laugh. They say our meditation is disturbed. By laughter your meditation is disturbed. Then it is not worth. Everything you have to learn. I think sooner or later you will have to learn how to breathe. It is possible because many more other things are fallen in the same way. You have to ask how to sleep, how to relax. They were natural someday, just like breathing. Go and ask a primitive. He will simply laugh. If you ask how you go so deep in sleep, he will say, what foolish question. I simply put my head down and go. There is no how to it. But he will say, still there must be a trick. Because I try hard, nothing happens. You must be knowing a secret which you are hiding. He is not hiding anything. That's how it happens. He simply puts the head and goes to sleep. There is no gap between these two states. One day or other, man is going to ask how to breathe. And then if you say that you just breathe, there is no how to it, he will not believe you. How to love, how to live, how to laugh, how to be happy. These are all simple things. No how is needed. These are natural things. They are not techniques. This is how Jesus is. He loves. The way he says his parables. He loves. He knows, he has an intrinsic knack how to tell a parable. A parable is not arithmetic. It should not be too clear, otherwise the point is lost. It should be a persuasion. It should not be an advertisement. It should not argue, because then the point is lost. Then why not argue? Why say a parable? It should not give proofs. It should only supply hints, and that too not all. Just few hints, so that your being is challenged. You become alert. I have heard about Chuang Tzu. He was talking to his disciples. And as disciples are, many of them were fast asleep. It must have been late in the night, and they were tired. And Chuang Tzu was saying difficult things, and they were beyond them. And when something is beyond, it is better to rest in sleep than to bother. Then he suddenly became aware that many are fast asleep, and it is useless. They are even snoring and disturbing him. So he said a parable. He said once it happened that one man had a donkey, and he was traveling towards some pilgrimage, some holy place. But he was very poor, and it came to pass that he was hungry and no money was left. So he sold the donkey on which he was riding to another traveler who was rich. But the next day in the afternoon, when the sun was very hot, the first owner rested by the side of the donkey in the shadow. The second owner said, "This is not good. You have sold the donkey." The first owner said, "I have sold the donkey but not the shadow." Everybody became alert. Nobody was asleep, nobody was snoring. When you talk about donkeys, donkeys hear it immediately. Chuang Tzu said, "Finish with the story. Now I come to my point." But they all said, "Wait, please finish the story." Chuang Tzu said it was a parable, not a story. You are more interested in donkeys than you are interested in me. Now everybody is throbbing with excitement. What happened? Then what happened? But Chuang Tzu left it there. He never completed it. It was not meant to be completed. It was just an indication that human mind is interested more in stupidities than in higher values and higher things. More interested in foolish things. But I loved it. It was beautiful of him. He brought all the stupid minds to a point, to an indication, to a hint. Jesus talks in parables for many reasons. One, but those reasons are not techniques. You can think about them, but they are not techniques. It simply happened naturally to him. He is a good storyteller. But you can think about reasons. The one, great things can be said if you create a drama around them. If you say without the drama, they fall flat. That's why stories have a tendency to live forever and ever. Vedas may disappear, but Ramayana, the story of Ram, will not disappear. It is a story. It will be preserved. Upanishads may disappear, but the parables of Jesus, they will remain. They hang around you. They become a climate. You never forget a beautiful story. Just as if you can sing a song, you will remember it better than if it was prose. If it is poetry, remembered well, somehow it fits with the deepest quality of your mind. If it is a parable, a drama in it, it has a tendency to cling to you. It will come again and again and again. It will become an inner climate. Bare principles are soon forgotten. And in those days, books were not written. All that Jesus was saying was recorded many years afterwards. For those many years, it was just in the memory of the people who had heard him. A parable can be remembered well. You will forget what I say, but you will never forget the parables, the anecdotes, the jokes. You may forget Mahavir, Moses. You will not forget Mullah Nasruddin. Mahavir is too far away. Mullah is just your neighbor. Mahavir may be somewhere in moksha. Mullah is just within you. He is you. You can recognize yourself in him. There may be reasons, but don't be bothered about them. It is Jesus' way. And it is good that he never tried anybody else's way. In Judaism, there were prophets, great prophets, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. They had their own way. Even John the Baptist never used any parable. This has to be understood. Prophet is something special to Judaism. It doesn't exist anywhere else. Mystics are everywhere. Buddha is a mystic, not a prophet. Mahavir is a mystic, not a prophet. A mystic is one who has attained to God. A prophet is one to whom God has come. It exists only in Judaism, the concept of prophet, because only in Judaism God seeks the man. In all other religions, man seeks the God. When man seeks the God and finds him, he is a mystic. When God seeks the man and finds him, he is a prophet. When man comes to God, he is a mystic. When God comes to man, he is a prophet. When the drop drops into the ocean, he is a mystic. When the ocean drops into the drop, then he is a prophet. A prophet is a very mad and fiery man. Of course, has to be, the ocean has come to him. Jeremiah, Ezekiel, John the Baptist, they are prophets. Mad people of God. They speak fire. They don't talk in parables. Their sentences are acidic. They will burn you. They cannot soothe you. Buddha is very soothing. Krishna is just like a lullaby. Surrounds you, soothes you, consoles you, heals you. A prophet simply burns you with an unknown desire, makes you mad. Jesus is both a prophet and a mystic, who has come to God and to have God has also come. Sometimes he talks like John the Baptist, and sometimes he talks like Krishna. Sometimes he soothes and sometimes he wounds. He is a very deep balancing phenomenon, a prophet and a mystic both. That's why you will find in him a synthesis. You will find him all that is in Judaism, all that is beautiful and great. And you will find him all that is beautiful in Krishna, Buddha, Mahavir, Jainism, Hinduism, Buddhism. Jesus is a culmination point, as if all the religions of the world meet in him and reach to a crescendo. He talks sometimes as a prophet. He invokes, provokes. He calls you. But that is not his only quality. He soothes. He says parables. He consoles. He gives you a lullaby. He wakes you. He helps you to sleep also. But that is the way he is. All explanations are after explanations. Remember it. The basic thing is, this is the way he is, and no other way is possible for him. Socrates was poisoned. The court decided that he should be murdered. But the people loved him very much. Even in the court, almost half were in favor of him. So they gave him an opportunity. They told him that if you stop talking about truth, if you keep quiet, you can be pardoned. This death can be avoided. Socrates says that will be impossible. That will be more deathly than death. Because to talk about truth is the only way I know to be. That will be worse than death. You please kill me. Because if you leave me and you say I have to keep quiet, that will be impossible. That's not the way I am. To talk about truth is the only business I know. The only business I know. And that is the only way I am. I cannot promise that I will stop talking truth. Because even if I stop, even in my silence, only truth will be spoken. So that I cannot promise. You better kill me. And he was killed. This is very meaningful. A Socrates is a Socrates. And a Socrates is a Socrates. And there is no other way. All explanations are after explanations. But don't be bothered about them. Love if you can. If you cannot love Jesus, forget about him. Find somebody else you can love. Don't be bothered about explanations and reasonings and proofs. Only love will help you to understand, nothing else. And when you love a person, whosoever he is, Jesus or Krishna, when you love a person, you immediately understand him. That's the way he is. And then you don't want that he should be otherwise. Love never wants to change anybody. Love accepts, understands. The last question. Is there any mystery behind your answer when you also tell the name of the questioner? Please explain it. But please don't tell my name because sometimes it is too heavy. This is from a sannyasin. I will not tell you the name. Because deep down she wants her name to be told. And this is not for the first time she has asked the question. I have been avoiding this question many times. Deep down she wants her name to be told, so that it becomes a part of history, part of record. Now this is her last effort. And she is trying a trick by saying that please don't tell my name, so that I can be provoked, but you cannot provoke me. Enough for today.